ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jackowitz. Welcome to the Kaged match, and this is a review for AEW Dynamite for November 6th, 2019. I'm going to jump right into this. I got a couple of them to do. It's the next day. So we start out, they kind of introduce us to what's going to happen in the show, and then they go right into Pac versus Trent Barreta. I don't know that I've seen Trent Barreta in a singles match yet. I've always seen him in tag team matches, and he really held his own against Pac. Pac, or Neville from WWE, is just an amazing talent and one of the best in the business, bar none. And so for Trent Barreta to hold his own, that means he's got to be pretty damn good in the ring. He was out there with best friends. Orange Cassidy was out there with him too. So it was kind of set up where there was a little bit of interference. Didn't really go anywhere. At the end of the day, Pac hit his black arrow, and Trent kicked out of that, and so he put him in his submission hold, and eventually Trent passed out. It was a really good way to finish the match. They had some really good highlight spots throughout, so it was a great way to kick off the show. Then you get a Cody promo, Cody Rhodes. And I gotta tell you, man, this is one of the best promos I've seen in a while. Cody Rhodes, really impassioned. You can just feel the emotion in his voice when he's talking about where he came from, what he's helped build. And, there was a lot of honest emotion in this promo. Half work, half shoot, man, and it was just damn good. Really, really impressive. And you can always tell the edge when they cut these promos. They make it a point to add some verbiage or some wordage that you don't get from WWE. You can tell it's a little bit more edgy. And I think they do that intentionally to let people know, this is not what you're used to. And it works in a way. I don't care about cussing for the sake of cussing. But when you have this honest emotion, and he one of his lines was, he's ungoddamn deniable. And that's just something you are not going to get in WWE. Not only because of the wordage itself, but because it'd piss a lot of Christians off. And here, they don't care. Like, they're just doing their promos. And it was so good. It really was. After that, you have SCU and the Lucha Brothers on commentary for Dark Order versus Private Party. And both of those aforementioned teams, SCU and Lucha Brothers, have a tag team match coming up at the next pay-per-view, and the winner of this match is going to be the third tag team involved. And so, Dark Order, really good. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to him yet. One of the guys is really big, and he's your standard big guy. And the other guy, he can actually move around quite a bit. He's still pretty husky, but he can still pull off some really cool moves, which he did in this match. Private Party are insane. They are just athletic as hell. Very, very good team. Very fun to watch. And during the match, I want to say it was Tony Schiavone said, "What a maneuver," poking fun at Vince McMahon. I thought that was great. But at the end of the day, Private Party, they win the match. They are moving on to the Full Gear Triple Threat. Couldn't be happier with that. SCU versus Lucha Brothers versus Private Party. It's going to be a hell of a match. Then you get the Inner Circle promo package. It's a package they built with all the Inner Circle talking up Chris Jericho and what he's done. And it was really good. And it was actually really funny. They had some damn comical moments in this promo package, and the humor actually landed. I thought it was really good, man. Really, really good. So far, everything is just A+ in my opinion. Then you get Jamie Hayter and Emi Sakura versus Shanna and Riho. Shanna just appeared last week, I think it was. Riho, the champion. One thing I will say, this includes people like Orange Cassidy's gimmick. I love Orange Cassidy. He is incredibly talented, but the gimmick is only going to be able to go so far. And I think that's the same with people like Riho. I do hate to say that. I really do. I think she's incredibly talented, but I don't know how believable. You know what I mean? She literally weighs like 98 pounds or something like that. Just a really, really tiny girl. Incredible. Like, can take nothing away from her. But the believability factor sometimes is not there. At the end of the day, it was a decent match. Jamie Hayter and Emi Sakura win. It was Emi who got the pin on Riho. So I know they have a match coming up at Full Gear 2. So that should be interesting now that we've got that win. Then you get Brandy Rhodes, Awesome Kong, another promo package. And last week, I described it as a bit weird, and this was a bit better. I really like this one more. Brandy Rhodes is talking more. She's directing more emotion toward the camera. She's taking shots at people who have said that she's just a pretty face and she's only where she's at because she's married to Cody. So she brought some realism into the promo too. I really liked it. It was good. After that, you get Brandon Cutler versus Shawn Spears. Have not seen much of Cutler. I didn't have a whole lot to go by. Shawn Spears, obviously, I'm pretty familiar with. And so it was a good match. Cutler is definitely athletic. He was able to keep pace. But it was kind of, you knew Shawn Spears was going to win. It wasn't exactly a squash match. There was some offense from Brandon, but not a lot. And so the idea here is Shawn Spears goes over, and he's going to start working over Brandon Cutler after the match. Out comes Joey Janela, who they worked over a few nights earlier. And so Joey Janela comes out here to save the day. And there was a face-off between those two, Shawn Spears and Tully Blanchard, who was with him, go back up the ramp. After that, you have a promo package for Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega match. This is the lights out, no sanctioned match that they're going to have at Full Gear. And, you know, Kenny Omega in the promo package is like, what are you complaining about? This is right up your alley. Jon Moxley saying, I'm not going to be held responsible for what I do. It was a good promo package, though. It was. And one problem that I do have with a lot of, I've said this with WWE, is with promo packages, you kind of take time away from either matches that could be happening or live, you know, stuff that really helps you. But these, I gotta say, are done really well. They help you really connect with the wrestlers. And since this is such a new company, and you might not know everybody involved, I think it actually is cool that, you know, they're really letting you get a feel for these guys, their personalities, their characters on screen. It really does work. So I do like it. Then you get your main event, which is Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. And all four of these guys have just made their name in wrestling, and they're absolutely phenomenal in the ring. The match is everything you would expect it to be. All the high spots. Really, really good. At the end of the day, Guevara and Jericho win. Jake Hager was out there with Jericho. He got involved once. Didn't really amount to much. Pac comes out toward the end of the match. Nails Adam Page, which kind of leaves Kenny Omega stuck in the ring. So they capitalize. And then the beatdown starts from Inner Circle. MJF comes out. He's taking shots at people, kind of helping save the day. Jericho and Guevara, they're running back up the ramp. Jon Moxley comes through the crowd. So Cody had run into the ring to take out Jericho, and, you know, that's where this whole fiasco starts. So at the point Jon Moxley's in the ring, Jon Moxley's coming to the ring, Cody's the only guy in the ring, and he takes off out of the ring. And so Kenny Omega goes in the ring. They have a stare down. And then for some reason, Santana and Ortiz come in and jump both Moxley and Kenny Omega. The Young Bucks come out. They jump Santana and Ortiz. And so there's this big brawl that kind of goes up toward the ramp into like the entranceway area. And I think it was Nick or Matt Jackson that gets on top of what would be essentially the rampway, their version of the Titantron, and jumps off onto the whole crowd. So it was a really good spot there, an insane brawl to end the show. And it was cool because it was, sometimes when you have brawls, it can just be chaos. This was controlled chaos. It was chaos where you had setups. You had Kenny and John Moxley there. You had Cody and Chris Jericho. And then they built up, the big young buck jumping off the top onto the crowd. So it was really cool. I really liked the way they did all that. So at the end of the day, it was a really, really strong show. If I'm looking for weak points, it might be Brandon Cutler, Shawn Spears, because it was short and you kind of knew who was going to win. And it was good. But, those two things just kind of add a little, all right. And then the whole Santana Ortiz coming out didn't really make sense to me if I'm nitpicking. But that's nitpicking. So, honestly, at the end of the day, it was very, very cool. I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10 still. You had some really good matches and some amazing promo work, honestly. The promo packages were top notch. They really took the time to think about what they were doing. So I really liked it. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying 8.5 out of 10. Very strong outing for AEW once again. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.